All right. This is Sandy Minkle, and I am with Neil Bradshaw. Neil, where in the world are you?
Currently, I'm in northwest Germany, but normally I'm based in London.
And what do you do?
I help organisations on a freelance basis with big data and making more sense of all that data they've got.
And how did you find Luke
That's what I do.
10?
Luke 10, been searching for quite a time for something related to house church, and a friend of mine put me in touch with someone who was involved with house church. I immediately emailed him, asked him if he did any online training. He said no, but he knows an organisation which does, which was Luke 10. He sent me the website and I immediately signed up.
And so you went through Church 101.
Went through Church 101 with John White and two Irish good friends now, Tony and John. So yeah, that was in the summer, around July and August in 2018.
What was Church 101 like for you?
Church 101 was mind-changing. It was fantastic. Loved the fact it was so simple and so practical, and you had an environment where you could actually put things into practice. But absolutely delighted with everything I learned there. I was challenged by listening to Jesus, and that does still challenge me. But loved the Church of Two, loved Sachet, and loved also just realizing that Jesus was a church.
So what are some of the ways that has come out in your life? How have you used that?
Well, with Sachet, definitely introduced people to that. Interesting how delighted I am with it and how easy it is to use. But even then, it still takes discipline to do that each day. So that has been fantastic. Church of Two, I was already had good relationships between Christian guys. So that was, I already had that in place. Really been looking at the interactive gratitude, which was a teaching beyond Church 101, and try and do that each day and post that to my leadership group, which is Tony and John. And having that is a massive help. But that's been fantastic. So all those things are wonderful. My number one tip for people who are thinking of, should I set up a Church 101 group or not? Should I facilitate one? Absolutely do it. But the biggest help for me was just setting a date. As soon as I set a date, then I could. It was very different. Before I set a date, I'd say, look, I found this great resource. You really should look into it. Whereas after I set a date, I could tell people about it, but then say, look, I'm running this course. I'm facilitating this in next Thursday at 8 p.m. Why don't you come along and join? So that made so much difference. It motivated me to tell people about it, and it was a clear invitation to people. And then that motivated them to look into it, and hey, some of them joined up and joined the group. So that really helped me massively, just pluck a date out of the air, a few weeks in advance. And then I had a whole 2 weeks to invite people along.
If someone were on the fence about whether or not to go through the Church 101 course, what would you say to them?
What is there to lose? There's so much to gain. If you're not sure, what is there to lose? Just put your name down and try it. At worst, you'll meet some great people. Could be across the world, and interesting people. By nature, I think people who join the course tend to be open-minded people. Interesting, you hear their journeys, you hear their stories. And so that's the very least you'll get out of it. But there's so much more you can get out of it. It's great, great learning, great homework to do. And it's an environment where it isn't just dry academic stuff. You have an environment where you can actually practice what you're learning, which is wonderful.
And so you also went through listed facilitator training, correct?
Yes, yes.
What was that like for you?
Yeah, that's real. That's really good. That's really very good. Not as good as setting up your own Church 101 group, though. That's the real deal. So the listed facilitator, absolutely. I know that there's a ton for me to learn, and that's fantastic. It's been great to connect with Tony Daniels through that.
Mm.
But the best training is to set up your own. Because that's live training, and it's real, like anything. That's the best training you can get.
So where do you go from here? You have Church 101s that you have already done and ones that are coming up. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I set up 2 Church 101s in November. They merged into one, and that finished. There's some guys there who definitely want to continue. They're a bit busy at the moment, but they're looking to really get involved with Luke 10 in a greater way in the future. So now, come the new year, I've got 2 groups starting. One is in a week's time, and so that's on Monday, the 21st of January, that's starting. And then another one Friday, the 25th of January in the evenings. So if anyone's listening in and not joined up to Church 101, you can come along to the Friday one. The Monday one's booked up now. But again, setting that date, and now knowing more people in Luke 10, set the date. I had a few people who could join up, and the rest of them were filled by Celia Johnson, Luke 10 administrator, and my pals in Ireland. They had a few people who can join. And fantastic thing is that it's an international group through Zoom, so that's really exciting as well, that it's international, and people who join can be part of an international movement. So that's where I'm at the moment.
What has, from the groups that you've already been through, what has been some of the outcome of that? What was the reaction to people that you led through Church 101?
The thing which really struck me was people were looking for it far more than I thought. So I was very nervous beforehand in running the course, but just presenting the information and facilitating, you didn't have to do that much really. People who wanted it were so eager and so delighted to be part of it, so delighted to do the homework, so delighted to have the meetings where they could practice, that facilitating was a dream. And it's just that really a lot of it is absolutely listening to people and praying for them, but just listening to what they have to say and asking questions. And but people, it's very easy. There's plenty for me to learn, no doubt, to be better, but generally I was very nervous beforehand, but as soon as I did it, I thought, wow, people really want this, don't they? I'd forgotten how much I wanted it.
Right.
So people are looking. There's a ton of people out there looking for this.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the Luke 10 community?
Well, definitely that if you are umming and ahhing about setting up a church, that is my number one advice, challenge. And facilitating is, it's always going to be a bit scary to start off with, but it's such a great way to learn the material as well, because once you set the date and you're facilitating a group, you go over the course again yourself, you learn the material, and so you learn it in a deeper way. So it's a win-win. And as John White says, he who teaches learns twice. That's very true. And just as I say, the other thing is there's a ton of people out there looking. Just get out there and make it happen. the quicker you do that, the quicker you'll learn.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.